the 49ers. In perfect playing conditions. It just couldn't be better. Temperature 71 degrees, humidity 55%, the wind west 5 miles an hour. The forecast mostly sunny. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall, and of course the big story, as I'm sure most of you know, is the fact that the 49ers will be without Joe Montana, their great quarterback. But all is not negative. They have Jeff Kemp starting for them today. He used to be a Ram, and when he was, the Ram record was 9-4, and Jeff Kemp took them to the playoffs. But you do miss a man like Montana. With me, of course, and happily, is my colleague John Madden. And John, it's great to be back, but when you lose Montana, it has to have an effect.
Well, of course, it's going to have a big effect because I think Joe Montana is maybe the top quarterback in the whole NFL. But I think that Bill Walsh says no matter whether we have Montana, which we don't, or we're starting with Jeff Kemp, we have to do the same thing when you play the Rams. You need a lot of first downs. Bill Walsh figures that they have to have 30 first downs today. Because one thing that does, of course, it moves the ball, but the big thing, it keeps the ball away from the Rams. He said that's what we have to do, and keep it away from Eric Dickerson. Last week, Eric Dickerson carried the ball 38 times against the Cardinals. Now, even John Robinson said, hey, that's too much. He said, we need more balance. So we're going to pass more today, and we're going to pass early.
John Robinson, the head coach of the Rams, and across the field, Bill Walsh, the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Both extremely capable and both extremely bright football minds. The 49ers have won the toss, will receive. Mike Lansford will do the kicking for the Rams. One shoe on and one shoe off. Back deep for the 49ers will be Carl Monroe and Derek Harmon as we're about to get underway on a bright and sunshiny day in Anaheim, California, the home of the Rams. Both teams won their openers. The 49ers convincingly over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Rams over the Cardinals in St. Louis. And Lansford approaches high, and it'll hang up a while in the direction of Carl Monroe. He takes it at the 10, to the 20, to the 26. Norwood Van is the man who took him down. Jeff Kemp will start at quarterback for the 49ers, a 17-yard return. Here is the defense that Kemp will be looking at least to begin with. Miller, DeJournay, and Doss up front. The linebackers, Owens, Giroux, Eckern, and Wilshire. And the secondary, Gray and Irvin on the corners, Cromwell and Newsom, the safety men. First and 10 49ers from their 26. Roger Craig is the lone setback. Jeff Kemp is the quarterback. Out he rolls early to Russ Francis outside the 30, about the 33. Vince Newsom on the stop. Here is the offense, which will be directed by Jeff Kemp. Cribbs and Craig, the runners. Clark and Rice, the wide receivers. Harris, Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Fonhorst. And a quick count. The 49ers go quickly. And the pass is picked off. Mark Giroux with the interception. He laterals to Leroy Irvin, and Irvin is down inside the 10, inside to about the 6. Keith Fonhorst finally knocked him down. We'll have to replay it. It looks like everything is okay. He might have dropped it instead of lateral it, but it got the job done.
I think he did drop it, but as you say, everything's okay. Everything's okay for the Rams, and everything okay meaning there's no flags in the play. We see Giroux, he just reads that, gets right out in front. As he starts to go down, he twists and he fumbles. And there's Leroy Irvin. He picks the ball up after the fumble, and he takes it down to the 6-yard line.
Steve Bartkowski, here's the rest of that play before we start telling you who's playing the rest of the game. Steve Bartkowski is the quarterback. First and goal at the 7 now, they mark it. Barry Redden and Eric Dickerson are the deep backs, and you'd have to bet Dickerson, wouldn't you? David Hill in motion. It is Dickerson. Cut down at about the 6. Milt McCall was the man who hit him just as he got started. We got started in a hurry. 49er defense is pretty much in their regular setup. Michael Carter, the nose tackle, as we look at them. John Hardy and Dwayne Board. Ricky Ellison, of course, is the catalyst of that defense, and he's number 50. Ron Brown and Bobby Duckworth, the wide receivers, split wide to the right. Bartkowski goes back to throw. Throws in the corner and over the head of Duckworth. Incomplete. Tim McKyer, the rookie cornerback, on the coverage.
You know, I'm sure that's one thing the Rams wanted to do and wanted to do early. They wanted some balance. They wanted to mix. They wanted to throw. And they wanted to throw against those two rookie corners of the 49ers. Starting Tim McKyer on one side, Don Griffin on the other side. But when you're on the 7-yard line, you don't have much time to work. Much room to work.
John Robinson looks as if he'll go with 3 wide receivers now. Michael Young, Ron Brown, and Bobby Duckworth. Bartkowski will operate out of the shotgun. He also has Tony Hunter to his left. Dickerson on his right. Looking left for Duckworth. Almost came down with a one-handed grab, but it's incomplete, and they'll have to go field goal. Don Griffin, the other rookie cornerback, was the defender.
Hey, that's good defense by the 49ers starting out here, and I think that's good for these two guys. We're talking about Don Griffin, that one, Tim McKyer, the one before, the two corners, that when you're going to start out on them, you know, and they start out successful in that those things aren't completed against them, I think they just gain confidence during the game.
No question about it. Steve Dills will hold. 24-yard field goal attempt by Lansford. Rams lead 3-0. So this one got off with a bang, didn't it?
You know, that's very important for the Rams, because one of the things that John Robinson was saying yesterday, and Bill Walsh felt the same way, that the 49ers probably on their first drive, and of course that's with Joe Montana, are the best team in football at doing that. They said you have to throw them off. You have to throw their rhythm off, not let them take that drive and go on down the field and get it. Of course, the Rams did that by getting the interception.
That would seem to be Bill Walsh's whole philosophy about how you approach this game offensively, at least.
Well, you know, he's one of the few that scripts the game. Of course, he has 25 plays. The first 25 plays he's going to run. They practice that. They go over the list. They know the whole thing. They really rehearse the start of the game.
I'd like to welcome those of you who watched the Atlanta Falcons defeat St. Louis 33-13 to our game here in Anaheim, California, the home of the Rams. And the Rams have taken a 3-0 lead early in the first quarter. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. Rams got an interception on the first pass, the second pass, rather, that Jeff Kemp threw, and took it down and got a field goal. Carl Monroe and Derek Harmon again back deep for the 49ers. Lansford gets a pretty good foot into this one. It'll be Monroe at the goal line. To the 21. I'd like to welcome those of you who watched the New Orleans Saints get their first victory of the year, defeat Green Bay 24-10. Welcome to Anaheim Stadium, the home of the Rams, where they lead the 49ers 3-0 in the first quarter. Jeff Kemp starting at quarterback in place of Joe Montana, who did not even make the trip to Los Angeles, to Anaheim. He's back in San Francisco in traction. And no one knows. Bill Walsh, we asked last night, how long will Montana be idle? And he said, I just really don't know. So Jeff Kemp is the quarterback. Jerry White right, wide to the left. He looks for Dwight Clark and has Dwight Clark. To the 34. Tim Fox cut him down. We were just talking about those San Francisco opening drives. Look at this.
Well, you know, if they score on their first drive, which they usually do, it seems like, this is what they did last year, they're 5-1 when they score the first time they have the ball. If they have to punt or they have a turnover, then that goes to 5-5. Last week they scored a touchdown, and of course they won against Tampa Bay.
And of course this week they had that turnover in their first drive. If you could call that a drive. Roger Craig taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Mel Owens. It is very difficult to run wide against the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, you know, they probably play this defense, this base defense, a three-man line. Here they're stacking their linebackers, so they have three linebackers. The minute the ball snapped, they're all boom, they're getting into that backfield. So what you do is you get 7 men up on the line of scrimmage right now, and that is tough to run against.
2nd and 14. Joe Cribbs and Roger Craig behind Jeff Kemp. Give us to Cribbs behind Randy Cross. He gets a couple, but not much more as Leroy Irvin came up to make the stop.
One of the interesting things that the Rams are doing here, Pat, is when the 49ers pull their guards, the Rams are shooting their linebackers in the holes that they vacated. And then they're knocking the guards off and making things happen in the backfield.
3rd and long, and the Rams make wholesale changes in their defense. They put the pass rushers in there, including Gary Jeter. And a lot of defensive backs, as everyone does. Kemp is back. Kemp has time to Jerry Rice, and it's picked off in front of the Ram bench. He got a ricochet. Jerry Gray came up with the ball.
I think the guy that made the play was number 20, Johnny Johnson, though. We'll see Jerry Gray is 25. He was a short guy. Now watch Johnson, number 20. He comes over the deep guy. He gets there the same time the ball does. He hits the ball, and Jerry Rice knocks it up in the air, and there's Jerry Gray to get the interception.
And the Rams get 2 quick turnovers. The first one they turned into a field goal. Now they have it at their own 45, 1st and 10. 11:16 left to play in the first quarter. 3-0 Rams. Bartkowski. Dickerson moves behind him. He can throw the bomb. And it's complete to Michael Young. Now they say incomplete. Michael Young doesn't believe it. Don Griffin was back on the coverage. What do you mean incomplete? Or whatever he said.
Well, this is one of the things the Rams wanted to do. They're going with 3 wide receivers, and they're going to work on these rookie corners. Here we see Don Griffin going. Bartkowski does get the ball out there. Young has to wait and come back a little, and you really can't see it from that angle. Here's another angle now.
Well, his body blocked it out again. You still can't really tell. Bartkowski quickly gives to Barry Redden. Right at the line of scrimmage, nothing doing. Tina Turner led the 49er defense. Barry Redden, who does such a yeoman job blocking for Eric Dickerson, walks over to the sideline as it'll be 3rd and long for the Rams. Michael Young is in. The Cowboys go to 2-0, beat Detroit 31-7. Welcome to Los Angeles, where the 49ers are in town. It's 3rd and 10. The Rams lead this one 3-0. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Out of the shotgun, Bartkowski gets away from the blitz. 1 time, 2 times. Finally stumbles back up to the line of scrimmage, but the Rams will have to punt it. Charles Haley was the man who put the heat on Bartkowski.
I think Charles Haley is going to put the heat on a lot of quarterbacks this year. He's a rookie for the 49ers. Could be the biggest surprise of their training camp.
Dale Hatcher is the Ram punter. He gets off a dandy. Into the end zone on the fly. Kicked that ball about 70 yards in the air, a net of 56. That'll help a lot of averages. The Rams 3 after an interception early. Then they got another interception and couldn't capitalize on it.
I think that has to be disappointing to him, Pat, that when you get a start like that, 2 interceptions against the 49ers, your big rival, and you only come away with 3 points, and you get those opportunities, that's really not good enough. From the 49ers standpoint, I think when you can give up 2 interceptions and still only be down 3-0, you've really dodged a bullet.
You really have, and that, from the Rams standpoint, usually comes back to haunt you. Outside, Roger Craig. Hit down by Mel Owens and Mark Giroux. Right now for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Half-time running out in Soldier Field. It'll be Matt Cavanaugh who replaced Ron Jaworski on the pass for the Eagles. But Richardson, who'd been picked on all day, comes up with the interception. Out of bounds at the 38, Kevin Butler misses his 4th field goal of the day. The Bears and the Eagles go to overtime. Back to Pat and John.
Well, Buddy Ryan did at least live up to some of his conversation. That's Joe Cribbs outside to the left. And Cribbs gets outside the 40 to about the 45 before he's knocked down by Johnny Johnson. Mel Owens also with an assist.
I think that's one of the things the 49ers have to do. You see how the Rams have these linebackers all stacked inside, using 3 linebackers to the inside, being able to get outside, pick them off, and then outrun them to the outside rather than running inside or off tackle. You know, get them all jammed in there and then get outside of them.
49er first down at their own 44.5-yard line. They give to Roger Craig. Rathman was in front of him as Cribbs went out the play before. Not much doing for Craig. Maybe a couple. Give him 3.
You know, Bill Walsh said last night that he wasn't going to change the game plan today for Jeff Kemp. That they started their game plan thinking Montana was going to be all right. In fact, he was at practice on Monday. Tuesday was their day off, and he came back Wednesday and couldn't practice. But Bill Walsh said when they put in most of the plan, it was thinking Montana would play.
Well, as you pointed out before, John, it's not like he's just a raw rookie. He's got some experience. 2nd and 8. Jerry Rice in motion. Kemp back to throw. Does quickly to Rice. Hooked down by Johnny Johnson. Pickup of maybe 2 that time.
You know, that was a 2nd down pass, Pat, and I think the interesting thing here is the Rams are using a nickel look on 1st and 2nd down, thinking that the 49ers try and, you know, mix up plays, so they're playing nickel or pass on 1st and 2nd down.
What did Bill Walsh say the percentage of those first 30 plays you were talking about would be?
He says usually, and that what he would like to do today is have about 20 passes, or what he has is 20 passes and 10 runs in the first 30 plays.
And that's about what he stuck to. Kemp goes back again. Under pressure. Gets away from some of it. And finally, Jeter and Kevin Green get him down. Give Doug Reed, an assist as well, a loss of 5.
There's a whole bunch of guys wearing 90s in on that one.
Let's watch that rush from the end zone.
You will see that the protection starts out pretty good. Now, the Rams like to run a lot of stunts, stunt their defensive linemen, which they did on that play.
Runniger's kick to Johnny Johnson. And he lets it bounce into the end zone, and the Rams will take over at their own 20-yard line. Another of those 56-yard punts. Both sides have one. 3-0. Rams lead in the first quarter. 7:03 left. 7:03 left to play in the first quarter. At Anaheim Stadium, the home of the Rams, where they lead 3-0. They'll start from their own 20 with Steve Bartkowski, the quarterback. Barry Redden and Eric Dickerson behind him. Dickerson right side for about 5, maybe 6. Ricky Ellison on the stop, number 50 for the 49er defense.
You know, Pat, when we were talking to John Robinson, he said, you know, Dickerson carried the ball 38 times last week, and so we really don't have to have that. And I said, well, what would you like to have Dickerson do? And he said, well, he's a great player. He said, I'd like to have him carry the ball like 25 times and catch another, you know, about 5 or 6 passes. And I said, actually, still count 31. What's the difference?
Well, he says, we got to do this and we got to do that, and we got to throw the ball here. They give to Redden straight ahead, and Redden breaks a couple of tacklers and gets a first down again for an update. Let's send you back to New York.
Pat, the Chicago Bears kicked off to start overtime. And on the return, they will force the turnover. Durson with a hand on the ball, and Bestie Jackson, their second-round draft choice, pounces on it. The Bears with an opportunity to win it. They have a first down going in at about the 20-yard line. Let's go back to Anaheim and Pat Summerall.
All right, Brent, thank you. It's 3-0 here. The Rams over San Francisco. 10-10 at Soldier Field. First down, Rams. Bartkowski back to throw. Has time. Has it batted away. Batted away by Manu Tuiasosopo.
You know, that's the thing. Watch Tuiasosopo. He's number 78. As a pass rusher, you start on your rush, then you get there. Now he's being double-teamed. You can't get all the way. Just get your hand up or hands up. See, he was double-teamed there by Dennis Hare and Doug Smith, and he still knocked the ball down.
He's going out for congratulations. That was a heck of an effort. 2nd and 10.
That's what you call splitting a double team.
2 tight ends for the Rams now. Tony Hunter joins David Hill, and Bartkowski quickly out to Redden. Blockers in front. Redden stepped over one 49er tackle. That play looked like it should have gotten more than that. Ronnie Lott, a good play.
That's the reason it didn't get more than that. Is that, you know, Ronnie Lott is like having another linebacker in there. He's a free safety. Remember, he started at corner, and the 49ers moved him to free safety. And that's probably where he's belonged all along. You know, they say that he was a safety playing cornerback. Now he's a safety playing safety that sometimes plays like a linebacker playing safety.
He hits like a linebacker. 3rd down and 5. 49ers fake the safety blitz with Williamson. They give to Dickerson, and Dickerson breaks out of the pack. He'll have a first down. Wayne Ford made the stop, but Dickerson got 10.
You know, that's the thing about an Eric Dickerson, that you can do that. He's one of the few guys you can do this with. You know, that you can take a play, it's a passing down. Go to a shotgun, underhand off, give it to Dickerson, and still get a first down.
John, with all due respect and credit to Eric Dickerson, that is a fine offensive line in front of it.
Well, you know, that's usually true when a back does the numbers that this guy does. But that Pankey and Kent Hill, Doug Smith, Dennis Hare, Jackie Slater, they're one of the best in the league.
No question about it. First down, Rams. Their own 49. Bartkowski back to throw. Pumps. Going deep. Duckworth had it and had it knocked loose. Ronnie Lott did the knocking.
Well, you know, that's what Ronnie Lott's supposed to do. He has to help those 2 corners. They have the 2 rookie corners. Ronnie Lott has to be able to play center field. He plays in the middle. From the middle of the field, a guy like Ronnie Lott can get to sideline. Starts in the middle, and that time he got to the right sideline. Of course, this is what makes it possible, is the pass protection. You know, we're talking about Irv Pankey there. We're talking about Kent Hill. The time that they give Bartkowski. Of course, with his lack of mobility, he needs time.
Bobby Duckworth out wide to the right. Bartkowski trying to set up a screen and has it set to Redden. Redden is close to a first down. It depends on where they mark it. Carlton Williamson tripped him up.
That was the same play that they ran before, the screen to the left to Barry Redden. He did pick up a first down. It looked to me like he left the screen quickly. You see, he didn't let those guys get a chance to block. He split them before they set up their blocks, the linemen. That was Doug Smith, the center, and Kent Hill, the left guard, out in front of him.
Rams don't spend too much time in the huddle. They're ready to go at their own at 49er 40. 3:21 left to play in the first quarter. David Hill is the man on the move. Dickerson hit at the line of scrimmage, breaks 2 tackles, and gets about 6 yards out of nothing.
As you said, every good back has a good offensive line, but sometimes the guy do things on his own. I mean, this guy just makes some sliding and little moves. You see, he cuts there to the left, then he's going to slide a little more to the left, and then cut back to the right, and take on a defensive back. But I tell you, there aren't many guys that can make those 2 moves.
2nd and 4. Bartkowski outside, quickly run Brown. Brown to the 49er 25. Another first down. McKyer and Williamson on the stop.
It was interesting. Ron Brown caught that ball. He has a broken wrist, and you can see that he has the tape. Well, he has both wrist tape, but it's his left wrist. Yesterday in practice, he didn't catch a ball. They threw some to him, and he couldn't handle them. And I think he just said, well, I don't want to hurt it today.
Well, he had a cast on yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a cast on. Well, of course, they took the cast off. Now, I think that's just a tape job with some other stuff in there, but that's tough to do.
1st and 10 at the 25 for the Rams. Here at the 49er 25. Brown, the move man. The fake is to Dickerson, and it's a reverse to Brown, who's down to the 10 to about the 12 before he's knocked out of bounds by Ronnie Lott again. A gain of 12.
Well, the Rams are doing what they wanted to do early, Pat, is take some of the pressure off Eric Dickerson. Don't start the game just giving it to Dickerson right, left, and up the middle. So they've thrown some. They've thrown the screens to Barry Redden. They throw to Ron Brown, come back on the next play to the reverse to Ron Brown. They have good offensive mixture.
That's what they were desiring, as we talked to them yesterday. Don't give the 49ers the ball. Final in overtime, Cincinnati beat Buffalo 36-33. Those Bengals can put some points on the board.
And now Buffalo can with a Jim Kelly.
That's right. That's Redden in motion. Bartkowski blitz from the outside by Don Griffin, the cornerback. And nobody there to pick him up.
That's an interesting thing. They took Griffin. Watch him. He's right here on the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side, number 29. Lott took his place out covering Ronnie Lott. Griffin came into the safety position, lined up there, and either said, you know, there's 29, he won't be coming because no one blocked him. They either didn't see him, didn't count him, or didn't believe he'd come.
I happen to believe the third option.
Didn't believe he'd come. Little number 29.
Not supposed to do that.
Rookie from Middle Tennessee State. Shouldn't be coming on a blitz.
Second down. Bartkowski back with almost ample time this time. Couldn't find a receiver, looking for Tony Hunter. Milt McCall is the man who knocked him down.
Yeah, Bartkowski isn't having a great start here. 3 for 9. Last week he started out, I think he was 0 for 6.
And you remember the last time the Rams had what you would call a settled situation at quarterback?
No, I mean, I think you'd have to, well, no. I was going to say you go back to the Van Brocklin Waterfield days, but it wasn't settled then. Of course not. No, I don't know.
3rd and 17. Bobby Duckworth out wide to the right. The other two wide receivers split to the left. Bartkowski out of the shotgun. All-out blitz. Batted away again. Carlton Williamson, who was coming on the blitz, knocked Bartkowski's pass down.
Yeah, we talked about Tuiasosopo doing that before. Now, anyone that blitzes, you can do two things. One, you can get the quarterback before he throws it, or get right in his face, as Carlton Williamson did. Watch him, number 27. Just come right up there. If you're not going to get him, stop your rush, go straight up in the air, and knock the ball down. Now, Bartkowski didn't throw that very high. He looked like, to me, he drilled that about eye level to Williamson.
And he's tall. He's 6'4". Lansford will try from 38 yards out. He made one already from 24. Trying to make it 6-0 Rams. Not good. A line drive that never had a chance. So the 49ers once again dodge the pressure and trail only 3-0. .58 seconds left to play in the first quarter with the score of the Rams 3, the 49ers nothing. 49ers first 3 possessions, they started their own 27, their own 22, their own 20. And this time they'll start from their own 21. They're lucky to be just behind 3-0. Reverse to Rice. He looks to throw it. Now takes off with it. Rice knocked out of bounds just outside the 30. That's close to a first down. Jerry Gray took him down.
You know, Rice was going to throw that ball, as you say, Pat. It was going to be a reverse pass. He was looking for Dwight Clark, number 87, going deep. Leroy Irvin had good coverage on Clark. He didn't bite on that reverse.
8 of 9 yards.
That's the final score. The Bears barely escaped the return of Buddy Ryan, 13-10 in overtime. Second and short. This is Roger Craig around the outside with some room. And out of bounds at about the 39. For an update now on the NFL situation, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
And, Pat, here's how it happened. Kevin Butler, who was 1 of 5, hit the field goal that wins it in overtime. Mike Ditka, very relieved at the victory. Buddy Ryan turns and heads immediately to the locker room. No handshake, but he has to be very happy about what happened. Let's go back to Pat Summerall and John Madden.
Buddy took off in a hurry, didn't he, John?
Yep, he didn't have any more work to do there today.
Roger Craig trying to get the first down. Or he did get the first down on the previous play. Beg your pardon. Stopped by Jerry Gray after a gain of about a yard. Maybe not that. The Bears beat the Eagles 13-10 in overtime to remain unbeaten. Those of you who watched the Bears win in overtime over the Eagles, we're at Anaheim Stadium, the home of the Rams. Pat Summerall and John Madden, where the Rams lead San Francisco 3-0 with 7 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Rams have had a lot of chances to be ahead a lot more than 3-0. And that's the end of the first quarter. The situation is on a bright sunny day in Anaheim, the Rams leading it 3-0. Back at Anaheim Stadium, it's 2nd and 10, 49ers at their own 39. Jerry Rice comes wide to the left, Dwight Clark to the right. Jeff Kemp gives to Roger Craig. Craig hammers for about 4. Mike Wilcher made the stop. Craig so far has been pretty well bottled up. And Bill Walsh said yesterday, it's not all his fault. It's just that we haven't put him in what he called a productive situation.
Well, I think one of the things is, they have Joe Cribbs, they got in a trade, and he said we really haven't gotten his place in this offense yet. And I think he's replacing Wendell Tyler. They knew what Tyler could do with Craig, and they're trying to figure out how Cribbs and Craig can best work together.
3rd and 6. Yep. Intended for Derek Harmon. Might have been deflected and might have just slipped out of his hand.
I think that slipped out of his hands. I think that was a terrible pass. He had Harmon wide open. Harmon started, he came in motion, and no one from the Rams covered him. He went straight down that hash mark. He was wide open, and Kemp just threw a bad pass. Whoa, those are the things you dream about.
So it'll force a Max Runiger punt. Mickey Sutton, Johnny Johnson back. That's Sutton. Down and up and down again. Jim Fonhorst was the first 49er down. A 35-yard punt and a 2-yard return. 14:04 left second quarter. With new hope against Michigan State. Now look at Heisman Trophy candidate Lorenzo White. The Rams give it back to Dickerson. And the 49ers run him down, led by Charles Haley. He is quick.
I'll tell you, he's quick, and the 49ers on that defense have a new defense. It's 5 defensive linemen. Haley being the 5th one, they call it fever. And that's a new look in the NFL. You don't get a lot of that, but it's a different type of thing where Haley is playing a linebacker position, but he's playing it like a defensive lineman.
And they're going back to that same thing with Haley now, down in the 3-point stand. He's not that big, but he is quick. Nothing doing. Barry Redden met a mountain. Got nothing. Wayne Board led the 49er defense. Michael Carter also in the bottom of that. I wonder, John Robinson was saying, we got to mix it up. We got to take some pressure off Dickerson. And finally, after all that he tries, doesn't work, he finally says, oh, heck, let's go back to Eric.
I think so. You see how much patience you have, or you see how much patience John Robinson's going to have. How long do you keep the ball away from Dickerson?
Tom Newberry has replaced Kent Hill at offensive guard for the Rams. 3rd down and 7. Out of the shotgun, Bartkowski. It's cut down by Jeff Stover. Another sack for Stover. He had 3 last week.
Against Tampa Bay, yeah, they had 3 sacks. Stover had them all. The defense had a big day last week. They had 7 turnovers, 3 sacks. But Jeff Stover is one of the guys, he didn't play college football. He was a shot putter in college. But when he first came to the 49ers, he was just a natural pass rusher. He just had that instinct to get by an offensive lineman and get to the quarterback.
Don Griffin back deep for the 49ers. He takes it at the 46. Jukes one man, Jukes 2, is still on his feet. Gets down to the Ram 35. Good return by the rookie Don Griffin. Tony Hunter made the stop. The 38-yard punt followed by a 19-yard return, so the whole net is 19 for the Rams, and the 49ers are in good shape with 12:10 left in the pass. We're back at Anaheim Stadium. Pat Summerall with John Madden. 49ers have the ball at the Ram 35. It's 1st and 10. The Rams lead it 3-0. Big Gary Jeter.
That was one of the matchups that Bill Walsh says he was worried about, is Gary Jeter on Bubba Parrish.
77 against 77. Here comes the reverse to Rice again. He got away from one tackler momentarily, but then nothing doing as Mel Owens read it from the beginning. -8.
That was that same play again, Pat. They were trying to run a reverse pass. See, they start here, they fake, now they're coming in here on the reverse. Now Rice, I think, was going to try and pass the ball, but 2 things happened. 1, Rice bobbled the ball a little, but 2, and more importantly, the Ram defense got penetration on that side, and there was just no place to run.
That play just wasn't timed very well from the very beginning.
Yeah, I think I'd stick that one back in the pack.
Kemp gets the screen pass out to Joe Cribb. And the Ram defense has him going in the other direction. Leroy Irvin up there and read it perfectly, a -3. They're back. The 49ers are to the Ram 46.
Well, one thing that the 49ers haven't done is they haven't gotten the Ram defense to loosen up. They haven't done anything deep, so that they're still up in there. They're still doing the screens or reverses, all that stuff. They haven't driven them off. And the Ram defense is sneaking up and getting tighter and tighter on them.
Kemp will operate out of the shotgun. 3rd and 21. Just barely has time to get it to Jerry Rice, and Rice stays on his feet. He is very close to a 1st down. Jerry Gray and Vince Newsom.
That's the type of thing the 49ers had to do, and Jeff Kemp had to do. They had to get the ball downfield. And if you're going to get it downfield, get it down to this guy, Jerry Rice. You can see what the Rams are doing. They're in that double coverage where they have a short guy and a deep guy. And what the 49ers did to Rice there is he just hit behind the short guy and in front of the deep guy.
And Jerry Rice read that perfectly. He came to a stop in between those 2 you were talking about. Sean Miller is the Ram who's down, number 98. 10:41 left in the 1st half. Rams 3, 49ers nothing. Sean Miller up and around. Now they're going to go field goal. The 49ers are. Ray Wersching with a new holder, Jeff Kemp. 4th down. It's blocked by the Rams. They try to pick it up. Finally picked it up. Now they lateral it. It's out to Leroy Irvin. And Irvin is off to the races. Gary Gray blocked it. And they finally found a handle. I don't know who got the ball first, but Irvin wound up with it. Well, I know that one has to be worth another look.
Well, the guy who makes it, of course, the block is Jerry Gray. Watch him. He's going to come from the right of the screen, right there, 25. He lays out. He gets his hand on the ball, his left hand. I think it was a low kick by Ray Wersching. Now, out of all this mess up here, Leroy Irvin comes out of the pack, gets a step on it, and he started celebrating about the 40-yard line.
65 yards on the blocked field goal attempt. Morosky was holding, by the way, not Kemp. Lansford hits the extra point, and it's 10-0 Rams. Turnovers. It's the same story no matter what year it is. They will kill you. It's 10-0. The Rams lead San Francisco. $10-0. Rams lead San Francisco. 10:27 left to play in the first half. Lansford tees it up to kick it off. Carl Monroe and Derek Harmon. Harmon on the left. Here's the man who just blocked the field goal. Over on the sideline, Jerry Craig. To Monroe at the goal line. Got a couple of blocks. And then ran into the Rams. Let's go back and look at that blocked field goal again.
Well, you know, there's about two real great plays here. The first one is Jerry Gray, number 25. He comes in and blocks what looked like a low field goal anyway. But watch number 54 here, Mike Wilcher. He's going to pick up the ball. Now, he has some form of a lateral. It's like a rugby throw. Look, you see the ball come up? He took the ball with his left hand, just flipped it up to Leroy Irvin. And then, of course, Irvin took it to the races.
DeJournay blocked out Wershing, and no one else had a chance. You were right. He started celebrating about the 35. Rice goes in motion. Kemp fakes the draw and fires downfield, caught by Clark. Enough for a 49er first down, a gain of 15. Sort of our theme as we began today was the 49ers and what they did on their first possessions. They have not been too successful today.
You know, I think the Ram defense had a lot to do with it. You know, they haven't been playing defense the way they normally do. They've been mixing up playing pass defenses on first down, trying to throw the 49er offense out of sync.
Somebody jumped, I think it was Russ Francis, tight end for San Francisco. Cribbs was the ball carrier, would hold up everything.
You're right, that was Russ Francis who jumped.
Gene Barth is the referee today, and he's a good one.
Yeah, that could be the first penalty. I don't remember hearing from Gene Barth yet.
I'm sure it is.
Offside. 81 offense, 5-yard penalty. We'll replay the first down.
Boy, that's a clean game when you get into the second quarter and you haven't had a penalty, and the first one is just a tight end jumping off sides. Bill Walsh said last week against Tampa Bay that Russ Francis had his best game he's ever had as a 49er. Russ Francis said Bill Walsh coached his best game.
And John Robinson said he played one of the worst games he ever coached last week against St. Louis. This is Cribbs, and he had a little room out behind Ayers. Vince Newsom made the stop.
You know, one of the reasons the 49ers always sweep well, run to the outside well, whether it be a Joe Cribbs or a Wendell Tyler, is because Randy Cross, their pulling guard, is probably the best pulling and lead guard. He, along with John Ayers on the other side. I mean, they just have a feel of getting out there and being able to hit and get on someone in the open field. Cross just made an excellent block on that last sweep.
By the way, the word on Sean Miller is that he has a pulled groin, may or may not be back. 2nd and 8. It gives to Craig, and Craig breaks into the secondary, still on his feet. Gets into Ram territory and hustles all the way down to their 42 before Leroy Irvin makes the stop.
This is a quick draw type of thing where they get the lineman to come up the field. The center, Fred Quillen, makes a good block on the nose tackle, Greg Meisner. Then that gives Craig a big hole to start off in. And, of course, you know, Craig doesn't need a lot of hole in there because what he can do either running or pass receiving, he's probably the biggest weapon in this 49er offense.
Craig and Rathman now in the backfield. Jeter gets Craig right at the line of scrimmage. Loss of 1.
You know, Jeter plays out here as this right defensive end and takes a lot of inside moves. You know, he starts out to see, he's out here on Bubba Pierce, but see him slant hard, number 77 to the inside. He's slanting all, he starts over the tackle, and he slants in all the way into the center. Now, that's a tough block for a Bubba Paris, but somehow you have to get him cut off, and they didn't do it.
It'll be 2nd and 11. Cribbs to the outside, hit by Nolan Cromwell and Mel Owens and knocked out of bounds. We have 7:59.
That's an interesting play call there. You know, they get Jeter, who's playing the end, taking an inside, hard inside charge, so then they think the next thing is if he's going to take that inside charge, then let's go to the outside. Of course, Jeter doesn't take the inside charge. Jeter plays the tight end, plays right down the line of scrimmage. How do you know?
3rd and 11, 7:30 now left to play in the first half. Rams 10, 49ers nothing. Carl Monroe is the man in motion. The ball is out to Monroe. He's taken down by Johnny Johnson.
Well, there's the thing that still doesn't make a lot of sense to me is you have 3rd and 10. You're going to complete a pass. You don't get the first down one, nor do you get it in position for a field goal, so why'd you even throw it? I mean, I just don't understand that. I never have.
If you're going to throw it, you got to get it up the field.
At least give it a shot.
Max Runniger's high kick might be down by Harmon. He could field it. Bounces off a 49er, and it finally is down by Ron Ferrari, number 54. So the Rams will take over at their own 3-yard line. They lead 10-0 with 6:41 left in the first half. Next Sunday here on CBS, another doubleheader. The NFL today will start it all at 12:30. Then it'll be Atlanta, Dallas. Both teams unbeaten. And then John and I will be in Los Angeles again for the Giants, who beat San Diego today, and the Raiders, who are 0-2 and will be very angry. 1st and 10 Rams at their own 3. Dickerson and Redden. Behind Markowski. Dickerson gets to the line of scrimmage and nothing doing. Maybe one.
You know, one thing when you evaluate a team, you always tend to do it offensively. And then sometimes you look at their defense. But you know the way the Rams win a lot of games and they're going about it today is a special team. You know, last year they had, I remember for half the year, I think it was the Rams and the Bears who were undefeated, and the Rams were doing it with special teams.
Right. And they had for them a substandard day last week, but not this week. Dickerson got one at 2nd and 9. 2 tight end situation. They ran it a little too long. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the first half. The 49ers, I believe, took a timeout. Maybe it wasn't the 30-second clock. 49ers.
San Francisco called a timeout before the snap. That's their first timeout.
It's a strange timeout. A reminder again that at the half, you'll have Brent Will McDonough, who's already dropped his first name, and Terry Bradshaw with scores and highlights, and then conversations with Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan. That's from the press conference. They wouldn't be there together, I don't think.
I'll tell you, it looks like Mike Ditka is just happy to dodge a bullet there. You see that picture of him running off the field? He had his suit on and his sunglasses, and I'll tell you, he was happy to get away with a win this week against the Eagles.
That had to be a very emotional afternoon at Soldier Field. John Robinson. What a gentleman. And another gentleman. 2 of the more capable coaches in all of football, not just in the pros.
And I'll tell you, Bill, you know, it's a tough thing when you have an offense and you're a coach like Bill Walsh and you rely so much on the offense and the quarterback, and you don't have one of the best quarterbacks in all of football, one of the best quarterbacks ever in all of football, in Joe Montana, and have him not be able to play, not even make the trip. And I mean, everything in Bill Walsh's offense is so precision that it really is difficult for a guy to come in, some other guy to come in and run that offense.
Well, it just takes years, literally years, to get command of it. You might be able to run the plays, but to really know what's going on. That's Barry Redden over the left side on 2nd and 9, and he gets a little bit of breathing room out to about the 5.
You know, an interesting thing, somewhere here, Pat, I think they're going to try and take a shot on the 49ers defense against Ronnie Lott. You watch the free safety that Lott is, and he's getting up, and he's getting up tighter and tighter and tighter to help stop. Somewhere in this game, they're going to fake one to Dickerson and throw or try and get a big play in the middle, get Lott to come up.
Minnesota 17-3 over Tampa Bay. 3rd and 6 here. The give is to Dickerson. He is hammered right at the line of scrimmage by Ricky Ellison. And you talk about getting excited about playing a game. Ricky Ellison is one of those guys.
Well, that's the way they're supposed to play. Those linebackers, you need guys like that. I think that, he's one of the things. They had Jack Reynolds was that way, and then they got Ricky Ellison, and he was always that type of player. He kind of learned it from Jack, and he's the emotional leader of this 49er group. I'll tell you, when they get down there, they play coming out like that, just like short yardage.
The kick is to Tim McKyer this time, and he signals fair catch at the 22. A good kick by Hatcher. Under a lot of pressure, a 43-yarder. He got it out of the hole for the Rams, out to midfield, where the 49ers will take over. McKyer back to return the punt, signal for the fair catch. 10-0 Rams as Jeff Kemp, replacing Joe Montana, comes on. Rice wide to the right, Dwight Clark to the left. This is Cribbs into the secondary and hammering to the 40. Very near a first down before Nolan Cromwell tripped him up with help from Tim Fox.
Well, that's one of the battles that they won over there on that left side that time. I tell you, I think Bubba Paris has turned into be one of the fine offensive tackles in the league. Watch him. It's against Gary Jeter again. Watch Bubba there. He gets his helmet right into his numbers, drives him to the outside, and he cribs.
You were saying we were watching films of tape yesterday that the area in which he's improved is footwork. 2nd down and 1. They don't get it. Cribbs, the ball carrier.
Well, they went to that different formation. We were just talking about Bubba Paris on that play. The 49ers went to an unbalanced line where Bubba Paris ends up over on the other side as a tight end. You see up in the right, up in the top, that's Bubba Paris over there. You see as a tight end on that side. And then what they try and do is get the Rams out of that odd defense and hit the middle. The Rams didn't go for it.
So it's 3rd and 1. Line of scrimmage, the Ram 41. Rathman and Craig, the running backs now. The fake is to Roger Craig. Kemp caught from behind. Now he gets out of it. He was not in the grasp, and he completes the pass to Tom Rathman. Reggie Doss had him, and he got away.
I think that play right there is one of the reasons that the 49ers traded Matt Cavanaugh and then to Philadelphia and then traded for Jeff Kemp because of his ability to get away from a rush, to scramble a little, and then throw while he's on the run. I think Bill Walsh feels that you need that type of quarterback in the league today.
Well, Joe Montana certainly can do that. He's 8 out of 11 for 69 yards and 2 interceptions. Back to Craig. Craig over the right side, stopped by Carl Eckern after a gain of a couple. Clock running at 2:28. That's time left in the first half. And the Rams make wholesale substitutions on defense.
Now they're bringing in their pass rush defense. I'm sure the Rams would like to hold here again and then make Ray Wersching try another field goal, come up with another block. Maybe that's their best offense today has been the 49er field goal.
Wouldn't you like to get this play off before the 2-minute warning? They didn't do it. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. The Rams lead it 10-0 on turnovers over San Francisco. Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, where the Rams lead the 49ers 10-0. 65-yard blocked field goal. 65-yard run by Leroy Irvin. And a 24-yard field goal gave them their points. It's 2nd and 8, 49ers. They're at the Ram 26. Derek Harmon caught behind the line of scrimmage by Mel Owen. The Ram linebackers don't get a lot of publicity, a lot of notoriety, but they're a pretty solid group.
Yeah, I think there's something the 49ers see that makes them think they can throw a run pass. I think this was going to be a pass. You see, I think he was trying to get out there and pass. He had the 2 receivers deep, but the Rams, that's the 3rd time that they've done a good job of covering on what looked like a run. You know, that one, there was 2 to Jerry Rice on a reverse that they tried to pass, and I think that was supposed to be a pass.
That might ought to go back in the filing cabinet. 3rd and 13, Kemp back to throw. Gets it up the middle to Roger Craig, and he's hit immediately. Ram defense is pretty impressive. A loss.
Well, you know, it's an interesting thing. Again, they throw that short pass on 3rd down, and they don't come up with anything close to a first down. Now, at least that time, they got inside the 30 to make the field goal a little shorter for Ray Wersching. We're still talking about a 45-yard field goal.
They only got 3 yards. Wersching had his first one blocked. This one is 46 official. Wersching hits it. And it's good. He had a lot of distance left on that one.
He got everything into it. You know, it seems like here at this park, there's a lot of 49er fans here today, Pat. It feels in the cheering that it's about half and half.
A lot of people made the trip down the coast. That makes it 10-3 with 30 seconds left to play in the first half. 49ers have, as John was talking about before, again, that just a reminder at halftime, Brent, Will, and Terry Bradshaw scores and highlights, Mike Ditka, Buddy Ryan after the Bears game. 10-3. 49ers finally get on the scoreboard. .30 seconds left to play in the first half on a beautiful, bright day in Anaheim.
Usually this is a situation where you don't see a normal kickoff. You know, with 30 seconds, you don't want to give them that big kickoff, of course, because the guy you're kicking to down there is Ron Brown, who led the NFL in kick returns last year. And there's only 30 seconds. You don't want an onside kick, but usually something into the wedge, you know, some kind of hard line dribbler.
He kicks away, and he really roots it. Brown takes it 5 yards deep in the end zone and comes out with it. He led the NFL last year. Gets out to about the 18 this time. 22-yard return, so that's how deep he was in the end zone. San Francisco scoring drive. They 7 plays, 22 yards. And Ray Wersching finished it off with a 46-yard field goal. Kept the ball 4 minutes, 14 seconds. Here we have 24 seconds left to play in the first half.
I think you'd have to call this first half kind of a defensive struggle with highlighted by some special teams play.
I think that would describe it pretty well.
A lot of times that equals boring. That's what they'll call it.
And Bartkowski just kneels, and they'll run out the first half. Not exactly to the delight of the Ram faithful, but both teams head for the locker room.
Well, I think when you have a score of 10-3, that's kind of a fitting ending to a first half.
So they head for the locker room to confer with the coaches. That is the end of the first half with the score. The Rams 10, the San Francisco 49ers 3.
Welcome back to New York, everybody. I'm Brett Musburger along with Will McDonough and Terry Bradshaw. It is over. It wound up in overtime. No one expected it to be this close, 13-10. What does it mean for the Bears, Will?
Well, I think it gets something bad behind them. You know, all this bad blood. There were all the books written during the winter. There was a legitimate rivalry there. They don't like one another, and they can get it behind them and say, let's go play football the rest of the year.
Terry, how about the Eagles? Can they build off of a game like this?
Well, I think so. Anytime you play the world champions and you take them into overtime and you lose the game, I think a football team like the Eagles in a transition under a new coach, definitely.
Well, let's take a look at some videotape. There's no doubt about it that Buddy Ryan had been pointing for this game. He played it down here the last week, but it now turns out that Buddy had probably been aiming for it all summer long. His rookie running back, turnover forced by William Perry, was big in the game. Perry got a hand in there, and Hampton pounced on it. Now, Walter Payton later followed Perry over the top. This is his 100th career rushing touchdown. He also gained past the 5,000 mark today. And Ron Jaworski then hit Mike Quick here out of the shotgun, and it was tied at 10, and they wound up going to overtime. And there was the all-important coin flip, and Will, you had to feel when the Eagles won it that they could come down and win the game with a field goal.
Here's the guy I felt happy for. He made a great kickoff here, Kevin Butler, after missing all those field goals during the game. And then the opportunity gets to this to win the game is really terrific.
The fumble forced by Durson. Bestie Jackson, a rookie, pounced on it. And as Will pointed out, Butler had such a long, tough afternoon. He was 1 of 5. He'd missed 4 in the game. And there he kicks the game winner. And an elated young man who came through. But afterwards, there was a scene in the locker room. Mike Singletary, who learned how to play middle linebacker under this man, went to embrace him. Listen. He thanked him for everything.
We got some things to do yet. We're going to do them. You know, it's going to hurt some people's feelings, but you know, they got to be done if we're going to be a top football team, and I don't mind doing them.
You know, they played very, very well, and I give them credit. You know, they were well prepared also. But I think the main line you look at is the bottom line, and we won the football game, and I'm very, very elated about that.
Yeah, and so Ditka was trying to be very nice, right? Well, then he kept going on in the news conference, and it turns out there was something else at work here.
They seemed to know when we were man in zone, and they just ran the right route for the defense, and they probably had our signals. They've had a guy here for the last 5 weeks watching us, so, you know, they ought to know a little bit about us.
Shades of the George Allen days. Will, what about this? Do you think Buddy did indeed have somebody watching the Bears?
I don't know if he did indeed, but it'd be very easy. The Bears are not going to change their numbering system because Buddy left. So he could take a guy, sit him in the stand, and say, okay, we're just going to synchronize our film and what they call, and we're going to find out what they're doing.
If you had someone there for 5 weeks and you're not smart enough to run them off, then why even bring it up?
I think he's talking about a preseason games. You can't run them out of the press box. The guy can just sit there and do whatever he wants.
I think he was up in a tree outside the training camp. We're going to have more scores and highlights coming up for you right after these messages from your local stations. The Dallas Cowboys are off to a 2-0 start. Tony Dorsett rushes for 117 yards. Herschel Walker is impressive both as a flanker and a running back in the second half. Next week, they'll play unbeaten Atlanta. The New York Giants win for the first time this year, 20-7 over the San Diego Chargers. Bill Parcells struck first. Phil Simms hitting his tight end Mark Bavaro down here in the corner, and this set up a Giant score early on. For Will McDonough, it was the Giant defense that deserves the accolade.
I think it was the coaching job of the week. John Shula said a week ago, this is the most sophisticated offense in football, San Diego, and I knew Parcells felt the same way before this game.
Terry, what do you think of Simms?
I like Phil Simms. Tough guy. He's overcome a lot of injuries early in his career, has lived with that and come back and played strong last 3 years.
Tough afternoon for Danny Fouts. Here's Terry Kennard, who picked off a couple of the interceptions. And as Terry said a little bit earlier, hey, Fouts is human after all. The Giants hold that offense to just 1 touchdown. The Redskins and the Raiders. Tough defensive game. Mark down the Redskins right now. Joe Gibbs, the heck of a coach. He's lost Kelvin Bryant with a knee injury. Now Jay Schrader goes down the sideline. You like Schrader, don't you, Terry?
I like him. Strong, heady quarterback, young, going to get even better. The thing I like here is his ability to move out of the pocket and then make the big pass downfield.
Will, is Rodgers happy even though Bryant is signed with the Skins?
Well, I think it is, as long as he gets some playing time and has the ability to fill the Riggins role right there in the goal line, knock it in when it counts.
Mark Wilson intercepted here. Will Al Davis go out for another quarterback for the Raiders?
I don't think so, not during the year. And Tom Flores is the guy who really likes Mark Wilson. He wants him around.
All right, 0-2, first time the Raiders have lost their first two since 1964. New Orleans explodes today, 24-10 over the hapless Green Bay Packers. Cleveland and Houston, this was a tough game for the Browns. They had to come from behind against the improved Oilers, who are being coached very well by Jerry Glanville. Now, early on, it was Larry Moriarty. He broke the plane. Originally, they gave the touchdown to the guard, Mike Munchak. He pounced on it, but they did rule later that Moriarty had the touchdown. Bernie Kosar, what about him, Terry?
Smart quarterback. Thing I like about this touchdown pass is he knew he was going to be sacked. He had to get rid of the football, anticipated where the receiver would be, and that time he did a good job of getting it in the end zone.
Big touchdown by Ernest Binerwell.
Yeah, and the impressive thing about the Oilers today is they win in Houston without Mack, who's one of their better running backs.
So both those teams now are 1-1. Buffalo and Cincinnati, this was the other overtime game. I got to tell you, this was shades of Joe Namath, Terry Bradshaw, the glorious quarterbacks who bring you from behind when you're outmanned. I mean, this kid Kelly, he can get it done. Here he is going to Chris Burkett all the way for an 84-yard touchdown. And the Boomer, who's been around a little bit for Cincinnati, rallies the Bengals, Esiason, and steps on into the end zone from 2 yards out. It was tied at 33. They went into overtime, and then it was Jim Breach who won it with a field goal. You'll be able to see Kelly on CBS next week. He'll take on the St. Louis Cardinals, who are off to a bad start. They are 0-2. Atlanta drilled the Cardinals this afternoon. The final score in that game was 33-13, and for unbeaten Atlanta, they go down and play the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and they are at the half. The Vikes lead the Bucks 17-10 in that game. Seattle and Kansas City, the Seahawks, off to a good start. 13-3 at the half in that one. Miami and Indianapolis, the Dolphins coming back now this week. 20-10 over the Colts there at the half there. And, of course, the game you're watching here, the Rams and the 49ers, 10-3 now. And let's send you back to Anaheim and Pat Summerall and John Madden. And, Pat, again, congratulations on 25 years of broadcasting here at CBS.
Well, all I can do is say thank you. And, John, I think you pretty well described, I don't know if you heard me or not, I said thank you. 25 years doesn't seem like 25 years. John, I think you pretty well described the first half of this game just at the end of the first half when you said 10-3, and hey, that's nothing but dull. What do we look forward to?
Well, I think it's probably look forward to more of the same. It looks like to me that the team that makes some mistakes is going to be the team that loses the game. You know, that's been the story in the first half, the turnovers. It's been a game of defense dominated by both defenses, a game of special teams, and it looks like to me that it's going to be that way because I don't think either team has the quarterback to do anything else about it.
John, Bill Walsh said to us yesterday that he felt defensively that his 49ers were back close to where they were their last Super Bowl year.
Well, of course, if that's true, then I think they have a good shot at going to the Super Bowl again because the 49ers will always have offense. They don't today because they don't have Joe Montana. But they're going to have Joe Montana back. They're going to have offense. And when they're a real good team, a great team, that's when they have the defense.
All right, John, in spite of the fact that it might be dull, we look forward to the second half. CBS Sports coverage of the NFL football will continue after this message and a word from your local station. It is 10-3. The Rams lead the 49ers. A blocked field goal and a 67-yard return after a lateral. Or was it a lateral by Leroy Irvin? Look at this again.
Yeah, there's some question whether this was a forward lateral or not. Now, the league officials looked at this, and they said that they couldn't determine if that was a forward lateral. Now, if Wilcher, who was on the ground, picked the ball up and threw it forward to Leroy Irvin, then that would be illegal. It has to be behind. Now, it looks like, I don't know how you say that. That's a close one to call, but on the instant replay that we have, that the officials do have, they did look at that, and they decided that they couldn't tell enough on that play to make the change.
And Norm Schachter, who I just talked to a minute ago, said, unless I'm sure, I'm not going to call it or make an attempt to call it. Ron Brown to the outside. Rathman got him, and he was just about to make his break.
And the last man after Rathman was the kicker, Ray Wershing. 25-yard return by Brown. Here are the Rams. Here is the Ram play selection in the first half. 13 rushes, 13 passes. John Robinson said they wanted balance.
He wanted balance, but I'm sure out of those 13 passes, he wanted more than 6 yards.
A half yard per attempt is not quite of NFL caliber, is it?
I don't think that's of any football caliber.
Bartkowski is still the quarterback. It is still Redden and Dickerson. Tony Hunter makes the move and lines up as the tight end on the right. Bartkowski fakes to Dickerson and fires up the middle of Redden. Dickerson gets a piece of the block. Redden bounces off 2 49ers and finally runs into 5 more. Keena Turner led the pack, a gain of 6.
The other thing is, I think what the Rams tried to do then is to play fake to take advantage of Ronnie Lott again. Remember earlier we said how Ronnie Lott, the free safety who has the middle there, was coming up so quickly on the run that they were going to fake to Dickerson to get Lott to come up. That time on first down, they faked to Dickerson, but Lott didn't come up at all. He stayed back there.
Keena Turner of the 49ers, injured on the last play, is still down. One of their better athletes. Ronnie Lott looking on. Again, next week it begins at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time with the NFL Today, followed by Atlanta against Dallas, both of those teams 2-0. And then the Giants, who won today against the Los Angeles Raiders at the Coliseum. And that's where John and I will be next week. I guess, John, not very happy days for the Raiders. They're 0-2.
And I don't know that they've ever started out 0-2. I mean, that's going to be one of those statistical things that goes back like 20 years or something.
Well, you think about the two losses, by 2 to Denver and 10-6 today.
I'll tell you, that Redskin team that beat them today, I think, is one of the good teams in this league. I mean, I think they, in all those preseason previews and picks and so on, I think they've been forgotten a little, or maybe not given enough respect, but I think they're one of the top teams in the league.
They have all the elements. The Rams 10, the 49ers 3. Pat Summerall, John Madden. We're at Anaheim Stadium. The Rams have the ball at their own 44-yard line. 2nd and 4. Screen pass to Redden. He'll have the first down. Ricky Ellison ran him down. The Rams get it into 49er territory. A gain of 9.
Redden had to outrun Michael Carter on that play. You know, we talk about Carter. He's one of the best nose tackles in football, if not the best. But watch him here, right over the center. He's getting double teamed. Now he sees screen. I watch him sprint right down the line. He's the closest guy. When Redden gets past that, then that gives him the first down.
Dickerson is the lone setback. First down Rams, 49ers 46. Now Redden moves back with him. Outside. That's Ron Brown. Tim McKyer was the 49er who came up to make the stop. A gain of 4.
You know, I hate to dwell on this, but I think that you have to stretch a defense both, deep and wide. And neither team has done that. I mean, they're throwing screen passes. They're trying to throw reverse passes, run passes, short passes, but neither team has done everything to stretch the defense, and the defense is getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
It'll be 2nd and 6. Brown again. Taken down by Lott. Pushed out of bounds by Ronnie Lott. Just back to what you were talking about, John. It doesn't really mean that you have to complete a long bomb. Just try it one time.
I think you have to. I think you have to get those guys off. And the Rams here are playing against 2 rookie corners. Now, the longer you let those guys stay out there, the more confident they get. And I think somewhere you got to Ron Brown, an Olympic sprinter. I think somewhere you got to try and ring the bell with him.
And you got Bobby Duckworth, who's got great speed as well. Now they go with 3 wide receivers. Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 3. The 49ers blitz. They give to Dickerson, and he pops it. Dickerson taken down by Lott inside the 20. And Lott pummeling Dickerson. And flags come flying from everywhere. I don't know what they said or what happened, but Ronnie Lott was really upset.
Well, of course, that's a great defensive player against a great offensive player.
Defense.
Neither one of them want to lose the battle. Now, this is a good play. In the third down, they expect pass. They're coming up in the pass rush. Eric Dickerson is great at ending a run, finishing a run off. Now, the play is over there. Ronnie Lott looks like at first he's just going for the ball. And after that, I don't know what he's doing. You know, Dickerson fumbled 3 times last week. And I think that's what they're doing. They're saying, let's go for the ball. Let's make him fumble.
That looks like he's going for the head.
Of course, you can't go for it after the guy's down and the whistle blows. It has to be while still in play.
First and goal from the 9. Dickerson in Redden. In the backfield. Dickerson. Slips to the outside. Ricky Ellison comes outside to bring him down.
I'll tell you, the guy that made the good play on that was the strong safety of the 49ers, number 27, Carlton Williamson. He's a guy he's up by that tight end, and as the sweep starts to him, he has the force. He has to get into the backfield and force it as he did. He's the guy that tripped up Dickerson at the first.
He made him skip and got him off balance right there.
He's the first guy. See, he was 5 yards into the backfield when he made that trip.
Second and goal from the 12. Dived back underneath. I don't know if he got it or the 49ers got it. That'll make it third down.
It seems like we're seeing more and more of that. Now, Bartkowski just pulled out of there quickly on that one. But I'm always surprised when you see a 9-year center and a 9-year veteran center and a 12-year veteran quarterback doing something like that on the simplest thing there is in football, the exchange.
Well, we've seen a lot of people make it thrilling in the last couple of years, haven't we?
That should be the most automatic thing there is.
Tina Turner, by the way, the word on him is he sprained his left knee. Doubtful to come back. Get it outside to Dickerson. He's got no room and no place to go. At the 15, Michael Carter out there quickly. Ron Ferrari, by the way, who replaced Tina Turner. Give him credit for an assist.
There's one of those third down passes for 2 yards. Of course, when you have an Eric Dickerson, though, I guess that does make something. You know, that you think that he can get it in the open field and still break it. But if you get that close to the end zone, take a shot at the end zone. You get that close to the goal line. Throw it in the end zone.
Lansford from 32 yards out. It's good. In the third quarter, 13-3.
Lansford to kick off to Derek Harmon or Carl Monroe if he gets it that far. 9:07 left to play in the third quarter. 13-3 Rams lead. A sailor into the end zone where they will stay. 13-3. Chicago in overtime over Philadelphia. 13-10. Walter Payton had 177 yards. Dallas 31-7 over Detroit. Tony Dorsett at 117. Giants beat San Diego 20-7. Fouts threw 5 intercepted passes.
Washington 10, the Raiders 6. Kelvin Bryant is out for 2 weeks with a sprained knee. First and 10. Roger Craig is a lone setback, but Kemp is going to throw. And does to Craig. Not much yardage. Jerry Gray was the first defender there.
I'll tell you one thing with this short passing game, and one of the reasons it's not working is that both of these secondaries are good tacklers. You know, that the guy catches a 4-yard pass and he ends up with a 4-yard gain. The idea, I'm sure, is you catch a 4-yard pass and you run 20 yards. But these secondaries of both of these teams are doing a good job at tackling.
You're very correct. Second down and 9. They only got a yard on that pass completion. To Cribbs, and he lost what they gained and maybe couple more. Loss of one. Greg Meisner and Mike Wilcher.
Mike Wilcher's having a big day today. He was the guy that got that lateral for the touchdown to Leroy Irvin. He's the guy that got the penetration. You see him down there? That's what the Rams are doing to the 49er offenses. They're getting into the backfield and fouling up the plays before they get started.
They lost a yard. It's 3rd and 10. They'll operate out of the shotgun formation. Kemp retreats. For Jerry Rice, and he's got it. Out to the 35, Tim Fox over. Same play that worked for them successfully in the first half.
That was the same play, and it was the same defense. You'll see Jerry Gray, 25. He'll be the short guy. You see, he hits, and he lets him go. And now they hit it right between Gray and the deep man. On that play, it was Tim Fox. Fox didn't get over there. Of course, it started off with good pass protection. Over on the right side of the screen is Gary Jeter again going against Bubba Paris, and they're having quite a battle out there.
1st and 10 49ers at their own 35. Handoff is to Cribbs, and they're back at the 34. Loss of one. Reggie Doss led the defenders along with Wilshire again.
And again, it's the penetration. You can't run the ball if the offensive line allows penetration. If the defense can get across into the offensive backfield, there's no way that you can run the ball.
2nd and 11. John, we talked before about offensive lines, and we mentioned the veteran Ram group. Same would apply to the 49ers. Those guys have been together for a long time. So it's a tribute, really, to what job the Rams are doing. Throwing deep for Rice, and he's got him. And Rice struggles into the end zone, I believe. Yes, sir. Touchdown. What an effort by Jerry Rice.
That's what Jerry Rice is this year. He's a big home run guy. You got to throw it to him. You got to get it out there. You see him, Leroy Irvin, number 47, is man-to-man. Rice beats him to the post, in, and then towards the goal line and the goal post. He beats him by a step, and Jeff Kemp gets the ball out there to him.
Jeff Kemp, distance is not a problem. He's got a good arm. Wershing to attempt the extra point with Morosky holding. And it's 13-10 Rams. This is a spectacular effort by Jerry Rice and by Jeff Kemp.
Well, again, the 49ers do a good job of pass protection. Look, they're keeping Russ Francis in. Russ Francis and Bubba Paris were double teaming against Gary Jeter to give Jeff Kemp a little more time.
And the rest of the effort by Jerry Rice just speaks for itself.
This man is crazy.
Vivacious.
Bill Walsh was talking about yesterday what great among abilities. He's also the possessor of great stamina. He can go all day.
And you know, when you see that is in those fourth quarters, when a guy can make big plays and then make them in the fourth quarter, that's an added ingredient.
That was Ron Brown on the kickoff return, stopped by Rathman. Miami 20-10 over Indianapolis. Minnesota leading Tampa Bay. Seattle 13-10 over Kansas City, third quarter. Rams have it 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. 6 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Rams 13, 49ers 10. Dickerson and Redden behind Bartkowski. He's had a shaky day. Down the man in motion. It is to Eric Dickerson. Straight up the middle and nothing doing. Maybe two. Tuiasosopo was the first man to hit him. Number 78 is Tuiasosopo. Taking on Doug Smith. Successfully so. Rolling back into Dickerson. That's good play. Second down and 9. Or 8. goes over to the tight end left. Kasky back to throw. Going deep. Intended for Brown. Batted away by Don Griffin. Good coverage, and Brown, I don't know if he got a cramp or if he has an ankle problem, but he's headed and limping for the sideline.
Well, that has to give a rookie cornerback here, Don Griffin, who's covering Ron Brown man to man, and he gets there with him and gets his hands on the ball. I'll tell you, that has to get him a lot of confidence. And if you take a corner in the NFL, and if you say, what's the one thing he needs, the one thing he needs is confidence. Now you see on that play right there at the end, Ron Brown's right foot or ankle got caught underneath Don Griffin.
So Brown is out and Chuck Scott is in. Markowski deep again. Duckworth this time the intended receiver. McKyer the defender, and those two young cornerbacks have done the job.
Well, that's the thing that they're going to do. You know, I thought they would try him earlier. I thought they would go to work on him earlier. They're doing it now, but I think that these two guys, as the game has gone on, have gained confidence. And now it's going to be tougher to get to him than maybe it would have been in the first half.
No question about it. Dale Hatcher back to punt for the Rams. And Don Griffin back deep for the 49ers. Hatcher didn't get all of that. Griffin down. And to take him down was Kevin Green. 33-yard punt, 4-yard return. They net 29. We have 5 minutes and 1 second left to play in the third quarter. And the Rams lead by 3. Third quarter, 49ers have the ball, their own 48. Jeff Kemp, the 49er quarterback. Joe Montana didn't even make the trip. Going for Rice again, and he has him again. Gary Gray on the coverage. That ball was underthrown. Rice came back for it.
Yeah, we talk about the 49ers corners getting confidence. I think Jeff Kemp has gotten confidence. The play before, he had thrown the touchdown to Jerry Rice. Now he comes right back on first down and throws another one to him. Jeff Kemp has now completed 10 in a row.
And Rice gets a rest after this one.
I'll tell you, that's what the 49ers felt that they needed, and they needed from Jerry Rice in this second year, the big play guy, the guy that the other team has to think of doubling, they have to worry about going deep. That's one of the things Bill Walsh wants to develop in Rice.
First and goal situation, they give it to Roger Craig straight ahead, and he struggled for a couple of yards right up the middle. Mark Giroux stopped them.
This is where I think we can expect a pass to a tight end, either Russ Francis or John Frank. 49ers haven't used their tight ends much today. I don't know
Not at all.
Caught anything. But this is the area that they'd like to. They like to do two things down here. One is throw to the tight end. The other is run some form of pick play.
Jerry Rice split wide to the left. Francis is over on that side. And they look to him. And I think it's intercepted. Now they say incomplete. Mike Wilshire again in the middle of things.
Maybe the Rams were in the huddle saying the same thing. Hey, look for the tight end down here, because they were looking for the tight end down there. Yeah, we just saw a shot there of Bill Walsh, and next to him was Mike Morawski. The 49ers just picked him up this week when Joe Montana couldn't play. They brought Mike Morawski in, who they had in training camp.
Third and goal from the 8. Mike Clark is wide left. Rice is wide right. A backward handoff to Craig, and he doesn't make it. He got to about the 1. This will be an interesting call. It'll be 4th and goal from the 1.
And you're 3 points down. This is a play where the quarterback takes it. He goes beyond the fullback, then hands back in front of him on the draw play. I think the 49ers stayed in huddle. Now they look like they're going for the field goal.
Well, I think you have to, don't you?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, you know, there's plenty of time left. You're down by 3. You have a chance to tie up the score. I think at this point you have to kick the field goal.
This will be like an extra point for Wershing. Morawski holding at the 10, so it'll be a 20-yard effort. good. But a penalty marker down. If that holds, it'll be a tie, 13-13. But apparently the penalty is against the 49ers for holding.
Had it been against the Rams, it would have been an automatic first down.
86 offense, holding, 10-yard penalty, and we'll re-kick.
That's one of those tight ends you were talking about. That's John Frank, and it'll make it a little bit more difficult effort for Wersching.
John Frank seems to have a lot of problem down around the goal line with penalties. Remember, we did a preseason game, 49ers and the Raiders, and he had a couple of things going down there. There he is. He's the wing on the field goal team, the outside man on the left.
This one will be from 30 yards now. Morosky holds it. And Wersching makes the penalty on John Frank meaningless. It's 13-13 with 2:37 left to play. Rams and the 49ers. It's always tough. Two are first to be reckoned with. That's next Saturday. Brown, the 12. Out of bounds at the 32, 31 call it. Tony Cherry knocked him out of bounds. 49ers' first 6 possessions were not very successful. But the last 3 have changed the complexion of this game. They got field goal, touchdown, field goal.
You know, the interesting thing about that, it's usually the opposite. You know, if Joe Montana's a quarterback, Bill Walsh has the script going, they usually come out and have success early. Now that didn't work, but they made some adjustments at halftime, and now things are starting to click for them.
David Hill's the man in motion. Pitch back to Dickerson. He leans forward for about 3. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 7 situation. The 49ers have pretty well kept Eric Dickerson under control with the exception of 1 play.
Well, I think the Ram offense has kept Dickerson under control. You know, he's only run the ball, as we see here, 11 times. Last week it was 38. And I think probably the answer is somewhere in between. I don't think they've worked him enough today. And whether they worked him too much last week or not, I don't know. But I don't think 11 carries at this point is enough for Eric Dickerson.
2nd and 8. Bartkowski not happy with what he sees, and we'll talk it over on the sideline as the Rams take a timeout.
You know, one of the things that, you know, they say that the Rams offense is a one-dimensional thing, and when you have an Eric Dickerson, maybe the one dimension is the intelligent dimension. You know, that's the thing that got this team to the championship game last year. I mean, they weren't as good as the Bears, but they got farther than anyone else in the NFC.
Bartkowski over conferring with John Robinson and the offensive minds of the Rams. And now he's got settled in his mind what he would like to do.
You know, one thing, of course, that the Rams are still missing is Henry Ellard. You know, their fine wide receiver and punt returner was holding out on a contact dispute. You know, I'm sure that as a breakaway guy, as a kick returner, I'm sure they miss him. Bartkowski really hasn't had that start, though, that, you know, he's had 8 of 17 for 44 yards today. Really impressed me in this game is the tackling, again, of both secondaries. You know, that's a big tackle there, where you get the guy and you can stop him for a first down. Now you make them play a 3rd down play. They may get the first down, but just that when a guy catches a ball and he's tackled right at that point, that's as good as the secondary can do. The 49ers better watch out here. They're going to take too much time.
That'll bring up 3rd and 3, and now they realize what's going on, what you observed, and they take a timeout. Jeff Kemp, after a rather shaky start, has done a very good job since then. And it's 13-13. 11:36 left to play. 60 minutes. She was a Russian spy. He was an FBI agent. She gave him sexual favors. He gave her secret documents. All new 60 Minutes tonight on CBS. Followed by President Reagan's address. And Then the last days of Patton. 3rd and 3. Kemp gives to Craig. He doesn't get it.
What they tried to do was make them think they were going to pass and then run the draw to Craig up in there. The Ram defense didn't go for it. Now, this is a big decision here. The 49ers have decided they're not going to go for it on 4th down, but they're going to take a shot at the field goal.
Wershing comes on. Morosky will hold.
You know, that 3rd down tackle by Johnny Johnson was a big, big play because that made him go to 3rd down, and then they stopped him on 3rd down.
From 50 yards, Wershing. It's going to be far enough, but it's wide left. And remember, the ball comes back to the original line of scrimmage, and the Rams will take over there. We have 10:48 left to play in the game, and it's tied at 13-13. Left to play, 13-13. 49ers and the Rams. Rams ball at their own 32. David Hill in motion. Bartkowski gets it outside. John Madden was talking about what a significant tackle that was made by Johnny Johnson. Let's go back again and look at it.
Well, you know, here's where that whole sequence started. You start here. Now, that's a 2nd down pass. Now, by Johnny Johnson making the tackle right there, now that forces them to a 3rd down play. Now they play good defense again on 3rd down. Now that forces them, instead of getting a 1st down and getting their shots at the end zone, they make this play. Now that forces a field goal that brings up this. Now I think it all started with Johnny Johnson's tackle.
Wershing's 50-yarder was far left. Ron Brown far left this time. Duckworth split wide to the right. Hill in motion. Dickerson the ball carrier. Out to about the 45. A pickup of 3 before he is again swarmed by 49ers. Ronnie Lott led the charge, and it looks like they might be friends again.
You see the difference there on that time? You know, he probably thought about it. He probably thought, you know, Eric Dickerson is a great running back. I shouldn't have done exactly what I did, and, you know, I was wrong on doing that, but it's the heat of the battle. Ronnie Lott comes up from that secondary, and I'll tell you, he does hit him square like a linebacker. There's those big linebacker pads he wears.
Come on, baby, there he is.
Flags are down everywhere. So is Bartkowski. Michael Carter is the first 49er there.
Hey, that's adding insult to injury. The Rams got Bartkowski sacked, beaten by the pass rush, and now they're going to be penalized.
4th time Bartkowski has been sacked.
I would say that they'll probably turn down the penalty.
Holding offense, number 56, penalty refused, 3rd down.
Doug Smith trying to block Carter.
I'll tell you, that's a tough job. You know, I mean, that's going to be an all-day sucker when you have to get in there and block Carter all day because he's so strong. You see what happens when Carter gets his shoulder. He got Smith's left shoulder, and he wasn't strong enough to keep him off. You can't do it with one arm.
Duckworth and Young are split wide to the right. Brown is out by himself to the left. Young goes in motion. Doug Smith still hadn't snapped the ball. Ron Ferrari scooped it out from in front of him. Let's see if he pulled him offside.
False start on the entire offensive line. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That could be something where the center forgot to snap count. You know, and that does happen. Guys forget it along the line, but I'd have to think if every other guy moved, maybe Doug Smith just was going on a different number.
Well, you know, Michael Carter got by him the play before. He might have been thinking about that instead of the snap count.
And maybe he forgot it and said, yeah, I should have, but I want to keep him in his stance as long as I can.
He thought it was on 95. 3rd and 19.
But it was on 2.
Bartkowski intended for Duckworth, incomplete. punt. 49er defense does its job. 9.5 minutes left to play in this football game. Hatcher has a long one of 56, averaging 42.5. That's Don Griffin back deep. Good snap. Hatcher gets off a fine punt. Griffin all the way back to the 14-yard line. Looking for some place to go, gets past a couple, and still on his feet is Griffin outside the 40 to the 42. Almost broke it. 52-yard punt, 26-yard return. So they net 26. 13-13. 9:17 left to play. Niners have done a good job of controlling Eric Dickerson.
I think so, and the other thing is I think the 49er offense is starting to come back here in this second half.
No question about it. Jeff Kemp, more confident, outside Rice. Out of bounds, first down. Jerry Gray on the coverage.
I think I can just see Jeff Kemp growing in this game. He's really known most of the week that he was going to start, that Joe Montana probably wouldn't be able to play, but you come down here and your first game you start as a 49er regular season, you're playing your old teammate. And sometimes it's not that you're not trying, you're just trying too hard.
It's back to Craig. Craig is hit hard quickly by Sean Miller. Maybe picked up a yard. A lot of people, a lot of discussion here this week by the Rams that having played with the Rams as long as he did 5 years for Jeff Kemp, coming back to play against them gave him an advantage.
I don't think so. I know that, Bill Walsh said historically it doesn't prove true, and I found out that same thing. Usually it doesn't mean anything either way.
2nd and 10. They're at the Ram 48. Clark in front of Gray. Incomplete.
Hey, that's why Dwight Clark is such a good player, a great player. That you don't hear from him much today. Joe Montana's not in there. But when they need a big play, they're getting to where they're going to go to a position to win a game, the guy comes up with a big play in the first down. See him, he's just out here on the outside. He just runs, he knows exactly where that first down marker is, comes under control, slides on one knee, and catches the ball.
And a good throw again from Kemp. 1st and 10. Clark and Wilson split to the left this time. Rice to the right. Russ Francis bats it, comes down with it, and gets about 6 before he's knocked down by Gray again, and Carl Eckern.
Russ Francis got up and he kind of shook his head. He said, this is a long day. I just can't get open in here. You get a little opening for a while, you make a one-handed catch, and you think, boy, let me see some goal line. Whap, whap, here comes guys.
And a lot of guys. He's caught 4.
A lot of guys that are hitting hard, bringing big loads with them when they come.
2nd and 4. Craig. Fumble. Picks it up. Bounce right back to him. He'll lose about 3. Reggie Doss was there quickly. Vince Newsom helped out. The Bears in overtime beat the Eagles. The Giants stop San Diego. Washington beat the Raiders. Dallas 31, Detroit 7. Cleveland 23-20 over Houston. Overtime Cincinnati over Buffalo. Atlanta 33-13 over St. Louis. Green Bay lost to New Orleans. Minnesota, Tampa Bay are in the 4th quarter with the Vikings leading 20-10. 3rd and 7. Kemp back to throw. Has it batted away. Doug Reed got a big hand up and knocked it down.
Hey, there's been some big bats in this game where they've knocked it down. Remember the Rams knocked down one early. Remember Johnny Johnson came in and knocked one. Doug Reed on this play. Sometimes those are as big as sacks, especially when they come on 3rd down as that one did, and the other team has to punt.
Carlton Williamson had a knockdown for the 49ers. Max Runiger will try to aim this one straight up. 49ers will try to down it, and they do. Derek Harmon, number 24, down. Caught it on the fly. And the Rams have their work cut out. 6:10 remaining, and they'll have the ball back down at their own 6-yard line. Make it the 7 where they put it down. 28-yard kick, but it was a good one.
Well, you know, that's something. It is legal there. Yeah, we used to work on that with Ray Guy, where he would punt the ball up in the air, and of course the 2 outside guys could leave, and they would just run down there and catch the ball. Now, if the return guy tries to field it, then that's illegal. But if he gets away from it, then the coverage guy can catch it.
First down, Rams at their own 7 as the crowd comes alive. Kowski outside to Barry Redden. He'll get some breathing room, steps out of bounds with enough yardage for a first down. Don Griffin pushed him out.
I would bet somewhere here that the 49er defense is going to get a heavy dose of Eric Dickerson. I think if the Rams can get another first down where they can just run and control the ball and just go Dickerson right, left, and up the middle, I think they'll probably go to that now.
Just over 6 minutes remaining. 6:04. First down, Rams at their own 18-yard line. Here is Dickerson cutting back up the middle, stepping through one tackle, but stopped by Carlton Williamson. By John Robinson's admission and knowledge, have not been able to put together a passing game. The game against the Bears, which they lost at Soldier Field, they got 44 yards in the air. Last week they got 70, and today has been 41.
Ram fans are going to start yelling, "We want Dieter Brock. Bring back Brock."
Markowski back to throw. Pass interference is going to be called as well. Flag goes down. Carlton Williamson was the defender. It's a first down anyway.
Yep, when the official marks it right there, it's against the defense.
Number 27, first down.
When you're out there covering David Hill, who weighs about 250 pounds, that's an all-day job for a safety like Carlton Williamson, who goes about 200. And he's covering them. They're going body against body, and Hill's body's going to win that one.
A little bit wider. Dickerson is the lone setback. Young is split wide to the right. Outside. Brown shakes one tackler, another. Fought a hard battle to pick up 5 yards. Ronnie Lott over to make the stop.
Yeah, it just shows what happens when adrenaline pumps in a game. And a Ron Brown, yesterday he couldn't touch the ball, couldn't catch a ball. He does have a broken wrist, and you get in there and the adrenaline's flowing and you get warmed up, and I'm sure the last thing on Ron Brown's mind right now is that he has a broken left wrist.
He probably hasn't even thought about it.
It'll throb tomorrow, though.
Second down and 4. 38. Dickerson into the secondary and around the corner and wrestled to the ground by Don Griffin. He almost broke it. A gain of 13 for Eric Dickerson. You can just control him for so long.
That's what I was thinking. That heavy dose of Dickerson starts about right here. And I can see with the score tied 13-13 that John Robinson is the type of coach that could think right now, I'm just going to keep the ball on the ground. Here's where it starts. You see, they didn't let that 49er defense get into the secondary. They double team on Michael Carter, shield him off. The linebackers got caught up inside, and that made a big hole for Dickerson.
Here's Redden straight ahead. He gets good yardage. Dickerson's carried 15 times for 67 yards. Michael Walter stopped Redden, who got 5.
He's carried 15 times. John Robinson said he'd like to run him at 25 times. I would bet that he could get 10 more in this game.
I would think so. Clock running with just over 3 minutes left to play. 2nd and 5. The Rams not yet in field goal range at the 49er 44. David Hill moves over to the right side. Redden moves in front of Dickerson. Back to Dickerson. He is hammered after picking up 2 by Ronnie Lott. Michael Walter also in on the tackle.
I tell you, that is a heck of a matchup with Ronnie Lott, who's a free safety. And he's really keying here on Eric Dickerson. And we see the block. Barry Redden is the lead blocker here. But watch Lott come up. Just as Dickerson jumps, Lott comes up there and meets him right underneath the shoulder pad.
Crucial down coming here. 3rd and 2 for the Rams. 49er 41.
The Rams are going to take time out, I think. John Robinson's trying to get a
He wants
timeout.
him to take time out. They don't see him. Nobody has seen him yet. There are 2 seconds left on the 30-second clock. It's 13-13, and they got remaining. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Anaheim Stadium. It's 3rd and 2. Clutch time.
This is a big down for both teams. If the Rams don't get the first down here, what do?
They're out of field goal range.
If they do get the first down, then they'll just try and control the ball until they get a field goal.
Dickerson deep. The give is to Dickerson. He's got the first down. Bowled over a 49er defender named Ronnie Lott. And picked up 6 big yards.
I'll tell you, when the going gets tough, then these great guys, they win those battles. Watch him here. I mean, this is a classic confrontation. Dickerson didn't do that all day.
No.
You know, he was kind of sliding and going down. Here it's 3rd down. The score is tied. We're inside the last 2 minutes. I need something. He pulled that one.
Talk about bringing a big load.
He pulled that one from down under.
First down at the 35. Bartkowski has Duckworth inside the 5. Touchdown. He beat Don Griffin.
They got him piled up there. They were running, going to the running game, and then they just sent Duckworth right in here to the middle. You know, I think what they did is they figured Ronnie Lott, who should be in the middle, he was getting up in there in the run, and they wanted to take a shot on him.
There is a discussion among the officials now. Hold everything. The official standing on the goal line ruled touchdown, but they're still talking about it now.
I think what they wanted to see if the guy's knee, if Duckworth's knee was down and he was touched. Now they must have seen that replay and decided.
After further review of instant replay,
That's
the
exactly
runner is
right.
considered to have been down on the 4-yard line. No touchdown. First and goal on the 4-yard line.
Oh no, he's not down. No, he trips there. I guess they say that the guy made him go down.
They say he tripped him.
Yeah, but I thought the guy had to touch him when he was down. I mean, he's not down there. They make the play there. The guy's not down. Because now he's down, but he wasn't touched after he was down.
They must have a different angle from what we have because there was no contact.
Well, they say that he was downed by the contact.
Show me the contact.
Well, this is the play that they looked at. This is the one that they decided from. They looked at this play and they said that he went down by the contact.
I didn't see any contact, did you?
Well, the contact was about 5 yards before he went down.
First and goal. Higginson to the right and Dickerson Henry to the right. He got down to about the 1.5 in the dirt. The infield dirt. And it's Harrison on the bottom of the pile.
I'll tell you, you know what, Pat? That could have hurt the 49ers, though, because the Rams now are going to run more time off the clock if the Rams score. Now, had that held up, then at least the 49ers would have a chance to work the ball back.
That is a very good point. Jackie Slater comes off. Limps off. John Robinson's yelling, I want a timeout. Let's take a timeout. And this time he gets it done with 18 seconds left to play. They have one left. One crucial timeout remaining. 18 seconds and we have a tie. To Dickerson and he doesn't get in. Now the Rams, of course, are signaling touchdown. Clock is still running. 8 seconds left to go.
I think the Rams ought to take a timeout and take another shot at it.
They got to.
Well, they have to take a timeout for the field goal, but I would have taken another shot. I would have taken another shot at the touchdown. Because now here, see what 5 seconds. Now this timeout has to be his field goal timeout. Had he taken a timeout earlier, see the ball didn't cross the plane. Had he taken a timeout earlier, he could have run another play.
But then he didn't have any more timeouts left.
And he couldn't have. You're right. Yeah, you have to save the timeout. You have to save one timeout to be able to do that.
5 seconds remain. Pressure now goes to Mike Lansford and the holder. Don't forget about that. Steve Dills.
And the snapper. Don't forget about that.
No, indeed. It's a three-way package. 5 seconds. Excuse me, John.
No, I was just saying the Rams have had some problem with their snaps.
At least he got it on the grass.
He got it over there on that left hash mark.
It's a 20-yarder. But I don't care how far it is. It's a tough one and a big one. 18 yards. And it's good. 2 seconds remain on the big scoreboard clock. And the Rams lead it 16-13. They put together a drive when they had to.
And Steve Bartkowski completed the pass when he had to. I think that big third down run, though, of Eric Dickerson's was a big play. And right after that play on first down, Bartkowski hit Duckworth.
12 plays, 93 yards. They kept the ball 6 minutes and 8 seconds. And it was all finished off by an 18-yard field goal by Lansford. Coming up next, the NFL Today, the postgame show with Brent Musburger and all the highlights. Terry Bradshaw and Will McDonough there as well.
There's the winner right there. There's the most relieved guy, that guy waving his hand.
Two seconds remaining. Carl Monroe and Derek Harmon will be way back deep. But as you said just before the end of the first half, John, I can't believe he'll put this one in the air.
No, this is one that you don't put in the air. I mean, before the first half, I didn't think he would. This one, I know he won't put it in there.
It'll be a bouncer. Fielded by Mike Frank, who's going to throw it to somebody else. To Carl Monroe, who might throw it to somebody else. And he does to Ratman. He drops it. 49ers still have it. And the game is over. sure. His 49ers played without their quarterback, Joe Montana. Jeff Kemp did a creditable job. Coming up next, the 49ers 13, the Rams 16. They win it. So coming up next, Brent Musburger with all the scores.